There are many tasks in your contracts that are in the overview over here, but you don't see how that works. And that's what we have solved by introducing a fully integrated task Kanban, where all the tasks that are triggered by any of the agreements, including the entity management, if you have that implemented, are put on the Kanban over here. We have tweaked the Kanban slightly as opposed to how the traditional Scrum Kanban works for software developers, in that we think that a backlog could be something useful, of course, but we also believe that there are, for legal counsel, those tasks that are beyond the next 2 or 3 weeks, rather to be done in a few months' time, but they should not be in a backlog alongside hundreds of thousands of other tasks in the backlog. So we have distinguished unscheduled on-hold tasks from the backlog. Also, a legal counsel's scope of work is not necessarily one of a week or so, but typically scheduled over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So we've also distinguished between tasks that are in progress. They need to be solved sort of in the next 2 or 3 weeks, as opposed to those tasks that are more urgent or require attention right now. And that's what we have brought together under the Do Now overview, which are basically the tasks due for this week. There's not much configuration needed in setting up the task Kanban. Basically, Weagree knows from many stages of a contract when a task is triggered. Because think of it yourself. If you start a questionnaire, then until you generate the Word document, you would need to finish it. So there's fully automatically a task to finish the questionnaire. Weagree knows that if you finish the questionnaire, then you would generate a Word document. So if you generate your first draft contract, the task to finish your questionnaire is fully automatically completed. Plus, as you finish a questionnaire, your next step would be that you send out, presumably, the first draft contract to the counterparty or to your colleagues internally, and that there will be a task to give follow-up on your first draft within, say, a few weeks from now. So this mechanism is quite advanced in how it works. It requires really hardly any configuration or setup or implementation efforts, and it follows the standard patterns of contracts. And you can see those automated tasks with this little thunderbolt sign that indicates that this is an automated task that is automatically triggered, but also automatically completed. You may as well have tasks that you create yourself. You've already seen this probably in connection with the contract properties or in the Q&A, in the questionnaire of creating a contract, but you can also create a task over here and tweak it to your liking. A task can be assigned to a colleague of yours. It may be a recurring task, and in that case you can indicate how many times it should recur. You can indicate the frequency of recurrence, the due date, give it a status and a priority, and it will run over the Kanban board just like that. For now, let's take one example. Here's a check of the registrations in the UK and France for legal entities. And let's assume that this task is finished and I drag it to the completed part. If there's a little thing that I need to give a follow-up on because I received something and I need to do something myself, then it will reside over here until I archive the completed tasks. Like all across the Weagree wizard, you can always step in for your colleagues who happen to be sick one day or who happen to work part-time, and you would find that here in the sub-tab, My Colleagues. Then the overview is somewhat different. It's more a table overview, and that's of course because if you have all your colleagues in the overview, the task Kanban is not useful probably for having the right overview. Yet you can change the styling of the overview and create a Kanban out of this, just like you could have done that for your own Kanban if you had preferred to do so. Now, thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. We are very happy to answer any of them. Thanks a lot.